education in the Philippines has undergone several stages of development from the pre-Spanish time to the present. In meeting the needs of the society, education serves as focus of emphasis of leadership at certain periods in our national struggle as a race. In this video, we will learn about the development of the curriculum in the Philippines from the past, especially during Commonwealth. Why is it important for us to go back and recall the past act or education of the Philippines? It is important because it gives us a glimpse of the past. It will help you understand how the past events or laws shape the present acts, education system, and theories. And it will help you appreciate the law today. And now, let's take a look on what is the curriculum development during Commonwealth period. The Philippine Commonwealth was the name of the Philippines when it was still controlled by the United States. Manuel L. Quezon was the first Filipino to head an elected government in the Philippines. The period of Commonwealth is considered as the period of expansion and reform in the Philippine curriculum. This is the period where there is reorientation of educational plans and policies to carry out the educational mandate of the Constitution and the revision of school curricula to carry out the objectives of education embedded in the Constitution, and many more. To help counteract the American cultural influence among Filipinos, President Quezon greatly encouraged the revival of native culture as well as desirable Filipino values. In this period, native cultures and Filipino values were brought back after the American regime to continue all the ethnic cultures, traditions, costumes of the Filipinos and pass it to the next generation. There is also an organized effort to develop a common national language in compliance with mandate of 1935 Constitution. Due to the diverse number of Philippine languages, a provision calling for the development and adoption of common national language based on the existing native dialect was crafted into the 1935 Constitution. In 1936, the National Assembly enacted Commonwealth Act No. 184, creating the Surian ng Wikang Pambansa or the National Language Institute. This body was initially composed of President Quezon and 6 other members from various ethnic groups. Deliberations were made, and in 1937, the body selected Tagalog as the basis for the national language. So what are the educational aims during Commonwealth? The educational aim are to develop moral character, code of ethics, civic consciousness, vocational efficiency, and lastly is preparation for incoming independence. Develop moral character, which includes self-discipline, values controlling, motivating oneself, conservation of resources, both human and natural, and social consciousness in terms of equal rights. Code of Ethics. President Quezon issued his famous Code of Ethics, which was required to be taught in all schools to help strengthen the moral fibers of the Filipinos and to foster love of our country, especially among the Filipino youth, and of course, inculcate the value of patriotism. Civic consciousness is the recognition that each citizen is for the society and the genuine interest of the society or the interest of the citizen. People who have civic consciousness will always be ready to work for the society. Vocational efficiency. The educational leaders expanded the curriculum by introducing courses in farming, domestic science, vocational and adult education were also given emphasis to prepare the people for the real world and acquire life skills to survive in this fast-changing world. And lastly is for the preparation for the incoming independence. What are the methods of education during Commonwealth? Education during Commonwealth make use of memorization, recitation, and socialized recitation. The role of the teacher during Commonwealth was to promote nationalism, values, moral character, and personal discipline. In order to meet the increasing demand for public elementary instruction and at the same time comply with the constitutional mandate on public education, a complete revision of public elementary school system is imperative. Commonwealth Act Number 586, or known as Education Act of 1940, was approved on August 7, 1940 by the Philippine Assembly. This is an act that provides for the revision of the system of public elementary education in the Philippines. The law provided for the following: reduction of 7-year elementary course to 6-year elementary course, or the abolishment of grade 7. Fixing the school entrance age to 7. National support of elementary education. Introduction of double single class. One class in the morning and another in the afternoon under one teacher to accommodate more children. Compulsory attendance in the primary grades for all children who enroll in grade 1. Teacher should also manage sections. And opening of classes should be from June to March instead of July to April. Another act was passed during Commonwealth. Act Number 2706 of Commonwealth Act Number 586 was repealed by RA 896. This was known as the Private School Law, which made obligatory the recognition and inspection of private schools and colleges by the Secretary of Public Instruction as to maintain a standard of efficiency in all private schools and colleges in the country. This law was amended by Commonwealth Act Number 180, passed on November 13, 1936, which provided that the Secretary of Public Instruction was vested with the power to supervise, inspect, and regulate said schools and colleges in order to determine the efficiency of the instruction given in the same. Another act, amended by RA 9163, was passed is the Commonwealth Act Number 1. This act is known as the National Defense Act, which was passed by Philippine Assembly on December 1, 1935, which provided in Section 81 that preparatory military training shall be given with the youth in the elementary grade school at age of 10 years and shall extend through the remainder of his schooling into college or post-secondary education. At present, we have the CAT or the Citizenship Advancement Training, which requires all fourth-year high school students in the Philippines in both public and private schools to join in the Citizen Army Training, and ROTC for college students, which give encouragement to the youth to contribute in the improvement of the general welfare and quality of life of the community, and instilling patriotism, moral, virtues, respect for the rights of civilians, and adherence to the Constitution. Commonwealth Act Number 589. This act was approved on August 19, 1940, which established a school ritual in all public and private elementary and secondary schools in the Philippines. The ritual shall consist of solemn and patriotic ceremonies and shall mainly include the singing of the Philippine national hymn and the recitation by the pupils or students assembled of a patriotic pledge prepared by a committee provided for in this act. The ceremonies shall be held if in the college or school premises as often as may be practicable under the direction of the respective school or college authorities. Commonwealth Act Number 80. Commonwealth Act Number 80 provided the legal basis for adult education pursuant to constitutional provision on citizenship training for adults. The objectives of adult education shall be to eliminate illiteracy and to give vocational and citizenship training to adults. Looking back on the curriculum development in the Philippines from the past, education continued to receive from the Commonwealth government the same attention that the Americans gave it. The Council made important recommendations to further improve the educational system in the Philippines, and most of these recommendations were accepted and carried out by the government for the welfare of everybody.